I'm glad that we have a very well-rounded panelist this morning. And okay, so we can start. Sustainability is the ability to exist constantly. We all agree on that. In order for us to stay, to guide positive changes, we need to do better. And that starts with understanding the definition of sustainability. I mean, of course, there's quite many translations, right? But according to Webster, this is what I get. Sustainability is defined as avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance, the pursuit of global environmental sustainability. That's the translation that I got, right? So therefore, sustainability is about ecology, economy, and equity, financial side of it, right? But allow me to chime in on that. So as leaders, business owners, managers, decision makers, we all have a role to play. A role to play in making our communities, our families, our home front, our business much more resilient through the choices, through these future disasters, through the choices that we make today and tomorrow.
Opportunities, which is what this is exactly. How do we create networking opportunities that can start giving us more, and we can start providing people with a lot more inputs from our side? Immigration is not, it's for me, it's not a social issue. It's an economic imperative. And if you look at what immigrants have contributed to various countries, US, for example, 60% of the IP, intellectual property and copyrights and trademarks in Silicon Valley are given to are owned by people who were born outside the US.
Absolutely.
What does that show? So, you know, so I don't think we've got to be focused on keeping our families and our countries safe. People are coming in from COVID infected regions. And if there's one person on that flight, they could infect. It is important that those who are right now out of jobs should get back into the workforce before we start bringing more people in, because we're competing with each other. It does not make any sense.
And we're making every possible way to make it happen. And I'm so excited to say that by the end of 2024, we'll be open to traffic, and will be a great 6-lane bridge crossing the Detroit River between Windsor and Detroit. And again, I have the privilege to work on one of the greatest projects in the whole wide world, building a bridge between Detroit, Michigan, and Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
So not get into the politics of it. I hope to talk from a sustainability. There's so much economy, there's so much trade that goes back and forth between Michigan, and not just Michigan, but all the states, whether it's Ohio, whether it's, you name it, all the states that do have borders with Canada will benefit from that. So we have one single bridge that allows for trucks, and it's built in the early 1900s. It's a vintage. So we have been on a journey to build this bridge, and right now we're in construction year number 2, and we have made tremendous progress. So talking about sustainability and talk about working from home, but yet able to continue to make the progress and meet the schedule is really a huge challenge.
Lose your productivity, and frankly, you'll kind of lose your mind at some point if it keeps up. So, overnight, within 4 months, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond. The company culture is not able to be imparted to them. And so when I care about them and know what they care about, that's the thing. A lot of them don't even know what the millennials care about. And if they're going to be 75% of the workforce.
Leda, Australia, see if I can pronounce that correctly.
They have done amazing things. They have just come up with a few new cases in Auckland, in New Zealand, and they've jumped on it really rapidly. So the thing that they've done, and they've done brilliantly, and you have to give credit to Jacinta Ardern there, and I believe in Fiji as well, is they didn't hesitate. They made it one story. They got everyone on board. They kept on communicating. One of the things that I think she did particularly well was she spoke to students at a school. So she made it so that everyone could understand what they were doing, why they were doing it, how, and the reason that they felt that that would help to bring them out. And as much as people object to things, I think she really got everyone on board. Now, in Australia, we went a little bit more scattered, but we were still pretty quick in shutting down in certain areas. But then there were different things that popped up. So right at the moment in Australia, we have 6 or 7 states and their borders are all closed. So I can't travel from here to Queensland or to Victoria. If I go there, I've got to come back and isolate for 14 days in an accommodation of a hotel or something. Victoria is particularly bad at the moment for all of us, and they're in stage 4 lockdown, so they've got curfew in the night. They're only allowed to go out to certain shops. A lot of business closed. In Sydney, we're being warned to be cautious. We're being warned to wear masks and to do everything else. But in reality, we're carrying on reasonably normally at this stage. If we go into a second wave, then that'll be a whole different thing. For a while there, sustainability was really benefiting because no one was driving, there was no airplanes in the sky, right. The waters are looking clearer, everything's looking great, and people are going, this is nice, all of this. And I guess the main thing to me is what can we each take out of it to create a future view? How can we use this positively, because there are negative things that are coming on. But Nikki, I think as you show in what you do, it's all about your attitude. If you've got the right attitude, then the things that come, the obstacles that you get, are opportunities to learn and grow and to do better. So this, right, devastating as it is also a really amazing opportunity. It's an opportunity for governments, but most of them seem to be failing, but also for businesses to actually start to go, how can we lead? How can we show what is necessary to be able to make this work effectively?
So I think it's important for now that what we see now with the governments, the businesses and society really adapting itself to the current chaos. I think one thing should be really considered, which is the term technology, what is going to be playing in our society. So the ethics of it. If you see right now, for example, in New Zealand, they actually announced for the first time a robotic AI police system. So you can actually walk to a computer in the middle of the city and ask a police AI kind of technology person how the criminality is in the region that you are living. So I think that's a really important issue to be talking about, ethics on technology. The second part is a dialogue between governments, businesses and civil society about this current pandemic and how society can really play a role.
It's great because we can just add so many people from all over the globe and start thinking probably different and maybe attach what we know about our careers and exchange our experiences. And that's a great thing to do, and I appreciate that. And Nikki, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Least I can do to stay connected with everybody, right? All right, I love you guys, and then stay safe.
Together.
Sampai jumpa.
Bye-bye.
Happy Friday.
Bye. Bye.
All right, bye.